letter from the Gantry.
Well, as always, thank you, Neil, for the intro. It is this time in the football calendar which always reminds me of the Premier League Asia Trophy, a competition which ran in every odd-numbered year from 2003 to 2019 inclusive. It has been replaced more recently by the Summer Series in the USA, though a return to Asia is still a possibility. There were 9 such tournaments, and I was fortunate to be present at all. 4 in Hong Kong, 1 each in Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, and on mainland China, 1 each in Beijing and Shanghai. The format was a 4-team competition with 3 Premier League teams and 1 local club. That was changed to a full house of sides from England for the last 2 editions, but you get the picture. 2 semi-finals and then a playoff for third, followed by a final for the trophy itself. Chelsea had just been taken over by Roman Abramovich when they took part in the inaugural tournament in 2003. Signings were arriving thick and fast, and Damien Duff and Wayne Bridge were on the same flight as me as they jetted out to meet their new teammates. And the first piece of silverware for the new regime was claimed indeed in Kuala Lumpur. Chelsea pipping Newcastle United in a shootout in which hotshots Alan Shearer and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank failed to convert. A poor Panenka attempt from Jermaine Genius was the decisive moment. His manager, Bobby Robson, had a face like thunder. 2 years later, Everton became the first and only Premier League club to be downed by local opposition, a Thailand under-23 team. Again, penalties involved. But they lost to Bolton Wanderers in the final. It was the first time I saw signs of the massive increase in backroom staff in pursuit of marginal gains. Bolton boss Sam Allardyce was way ahead of his time. One other standout memory, Manchester City's Ben Thatcher took advantage of a stadium equipped for athletics by putting in full tilt efforts into the long jump pit as part of his warm-up. Next, in 2007, it was Liverpool, a massive draw in Hong Kong. They got to the final against Harry Redknapp's Portsmouth. The Reds' big summer signing, Fernando Torres, didn't arrive in time to be registered for the competition, but Harry generously waived any right he had to stop Torres from playing in the final. Such largesse paid off. Another penalty shootout, and from the spot the expensive Spaniard failed. Redknapp stalwart Nico Cranchard didn't, and the Asia Trophy headed to Fratton Park. But the craziest experience I ever had came in 2009. The host team, Beijing Guan, lost in the semi-final to Hull City. Friend of our podcast, Tom Kenny, was in the Hull squad. It meant a 3rd-4th playoff for the hosts against West Ham. But when I got their lineup, 5 or 6 names were not on the official squad list, which had to be submitted before the competition began. Nobody on the admin side had noticed this, so I had to walk onto the pitch during the warm-up and find a player who spoke English, ask who he was, and to point out the other newcomers for me, where they'd come from and why they'd come. It transpired that the regulars had a domestic game a couple of days later, and protocol or no protocol, they wouldn't be wasting any energy against the Hammers. These extras had been loaned in for the day from another Beijing team. I was like a police constable called to an incident. Name, please, sir. What is your nationality? What position are you going to play? West Ham won comfortably. Spurs incidentally beat Hull 3-0 in the final, a couple of goals for Robbie Keane. In 2011, Chelsea became the only club to regain the Asia Trophy. Josh McEachran, then 18 years old, scored after 36 seconds past Aston Villa's Shay Given. A clincher came from the aforementioned Fernando Torres, who'd not made much of an impact since moving to London in that winter window. He was brought on as a substitute, alongside, rather than instead of Didier Drogba, to earn a medal that he'd cost himself and Liverpool 4 years earlier. 2013 nearly didn't happen at all. Deluges hit Hong Kong. The pitch was a bog, sawdust was spread, matches were shortened. Manchester City brought with them a new manager in Manuel Pellegrini, who soon made it clear that he wasn't in the business of marking a commentator's card, though he did later mellow at West Ham. Spurs brought with them a departing player, Gareth Bale, who understandably didn't feature in those terrible conditions, so he was fit for his upcoming move to Real Madrid just a few weeks later. Without the wonder from Wales, Spurs lost in the final to City, a goal from Edin Dzeko. 2015 saw what seemed the longest journey for an Asia Trophy tournament to Singapore. Stoke City fielded the irrepressible pair of Peter Crouch and Steve Sidwell, top-of-the-range podcaster and his sidekick these days. Now, Crouchy had family history out there, and the first language he learnt as a toddler was Mandarin. Attempts to dig out a word or two from him in the local language failed miserably. Steve scored to secure third place for the Potters after a penalty defeat to Everton in the semi-final, but Arsenal saw off the Toffees in the final 3-1. Liverpool, Leicester, Crystal Palace and West Bromwich Albion made up a Premier League 4 in 2017. Palace finished third under their new manager Frank de Boer, though the famous Dutchman was only to last a handful of Premier League games when the regular season started. Liverpool won the trophy this time, beating Leicester in the final, helped by a goal from a promising newcomer called Mo Salah. Shanghai was the venue in July 2019, and there was talk of flu at the time when the competition was taking place, though no one could have imagined the COVID pandemic allegedly started in China, which was about to follow. Wolves put 4 past Newcastle, who were waiting the arrival of their new manager Steve Bruce. Manchester City put 4 past West Ham. In the final itself, Raheem Sterling sent a penalty over the bar just before half-time. The Wolves keeper, Rui Patricio, saved 3 spot kicks in the subsequent shootout. There are joyous photos of Wolves winning what at the moment is the last Asia trophy, but it's impossible not to be drawn to one smiling face in particular, that of Diogo Jota.